Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Ronnie Ward, Ronnie-Dean-Ward. I thought I want to make something clear because I've been really harsh in my statements, but I want to be clear. I am a YouTube influencer. I'm not a United States policymaker. I have no authority to direct the military forces of this country or have no power to direct the military forces of any other country. I'm not a spy. I'm not espionage. I'm not a CIA agent. I'm not a secret anything. Every video of mine is just like this. Me straight to the camera. So, you influencer people, I am a world recognized, especially in the United States, amongst a younger group of people, 20s to 30s, as some kind of influencer person that's just funny as hell. Because they don't take it seriously. They do it for fun. But you all earn money for every click and aren't even honest at the bottom of your videos to clearly indicate where the money's going to or who you are coordinating with to push your clicks. Because you can pay extra money to push your clicks to the top. So it's very clear that none of you folks are doing nothing more than creating a distraction in the world for your own personal profit making and to self-aggrandize yourselves and be some sort of influencer that nobody cares about anywhere in the world. But furthermore, the United States, a country named United States, a country named Mexico, a country named Canada, a country named Denmark that has sovereign territory called Greenland, a country named Islamic Republic of Iran, a country named Israel, sovereign territory that is Palestinian called Gaza, and the West Bank, which is a horror show of death. A country named Lebanon. That's a horror show. A country named Venezuela. A country named Cuba, whose the people are starving to death, cooking on little stoves in the night, and the garbage is piling up because it's Castro! A country named El Salvador. It's none of your policy influencers to criticize the president of El Salvador because you don't like his prison? Do you know how serious crimes and gangs are in El Salvador? And you? Why do you not criticize the Senate or the House who puts the money in the budget that goes to El Salvador for hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars instead of criticizing Donald Trump. He does not authorize the budget. Congress does. And why? Do you see this sheet here? See this sheet? What color is this? It's white. Am I white? Am I white? I'm not white. I'm flesh tone. Now, if you were an artist doing watercolor or oil paint or using color chalk, they have a whole series. Or, ladies, if somebody came to you with white paste to put on your face, you'd say, well, I'm not a fucking clown. Stop saying white people, black people, because I'm not white, okay? And if you want to know what black is, this is black. Do you know anybody black? Do you know anybody black? Is there any people this color? No. So you're race baiters. Talking black and white people. The worst thing a flesh tone. Have you ever met a person who is ethnically black, especially a woman or a man, whose face is so fair in complexion? I'm just sick of it. It's offensive to me and the ethnically black people or the Black Church of America, who has pride in saying the black church, because they're not black. And why do they say the black church? Because whites everywhere. So you continue to be race baiters and throwing the fucking race card by saying black people. That's the most offensive thing that anybody like me can say, especially you all. So I'm the guy that's white, I guess, who can say to white people, because you want to be white and black, I'm not white. If you want to say I'm white, then I'm going to say you're black. Because people who are African, people from Africa don't say they're black. They say I'm Ethiopian or I'm South Congolese or anything. What is the problem in the country named United States that we're so backward here? That we're the only country in the world that still talks about black and white, meaning people. Your YouTube influencer people. I want to remind you of something. Would you please check back 3 or 4 years? They did a big study to compare the people of the People's Republic of China. That's the name of the country. It's not China. Well, I have found China that would cost $100 a setting for a dinner plate, a salad plate, and coffee cup and stuff. That's China. Bone China. That's China. And people, my complexion, that live in the deep South, Alabama and Mississippi and Georgia, not so Tennessee, they're sick to death because they don't have black and white people, and they're not red states and blue states, and they're not purple states and yellow states. You don't even say the name of the state anymore. You just put little colors on the states. So who's responsible for the disintegration of an identity as United States? I guess the media. Now, I have a long tradition beginning the November 1992 election, when the candidates were, for the Democrats, William Jefferson Clinton and Al Gore. For the Republicans, it was George H. Bush and Dan Quayle. And for the first time, an independent party in all 50 states, the candidates for independent party were Ross Perot for president and James Bond Stockdale, a great hero of the country and around the world, and raised in my hometown, Abingdon, Illinois, for vice president. And he was ridiculed. Two Sundays, not the Sunday before the election, but the Sunday before that was my debut. And many other people in the city of New London, Connecticut, for community work that we'd been doing. A multi-page, front page, and page after article and picture and story of all kinds of people. That was my debut. In the public press, printing press, meaning printed in a newspaper. Freedom of the press doesn't mean influencers on YouTube, and doesn't mean interviewing people like that. They didn't have microphones when the first Congress met and adopted the Bill of Rights. And the first one says, Congress shall not, Congress together, both chambers, bicamerally, Congress shall pass no law, meaning a joint resolution passed by both chambers and sent to the president and signed. Congress shall pass no law, meaning Congress can't put out a bill to go to the president's desk, even. Congress shall pass no law, abridging freedom of religion and the free exercise thereof. Congress shall pass no law abridging freedom of the press. Congress shall pass no law, abridging, freedom of religion. Congress shall pass no bill abridging, freedom of the press, freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom of religion, freedom of the press. A newspaper, a pamphlet, a piece of paper put into a machine that pressed ink on a piece of fucking paper. And then the other rights. Rights. They're not, the First Amendment doesn't grant rights. It says, Congress shall pass no law, comma, abridging. Now, that means those are things that are already to the people. And Congress is prohibited. It doesn't grant rights. It's not First Amendment rights. It's a First Amendment prohibition against Congress passing a joint resolution as a bill and sending it to the president's desk. So, I guess you ought to get your pocket constitution. Chief Justice Warren Burger left his seat during the Ronald Reagan administration to become the chairperson of a commission on the Constitution, and they published an official guide to the Constitution. So I'm going to begin my public life again. So if any of you have so many column of inches in a newspaper, because I've only been written about by reporters. A reporter for a newspaper who had to find me and know me and say, Ron or Ronnie, I'm working on a story. Could I talk to you? Could I interview you? Oh, sure. And they interviewed me and wrote their opinion as a reporter about me and the other people in the story. Sometimes the stories were just about their stories. You read a story in a newspaper. The New York Times prints a story in the newspaper. A story. It's a story of a lovely lady. It's a story about what a reporter thinks about people they've interviewed. They have a byline. Media people are employees of a media conglomerate. You're not reporters. You're not policymakers. You're employees of a corporation. Corporations have no rights. The First Amendment doesn't grant rights. It prohibits Congress from passing a bill. So I'm sick to death of hearing media personalities who interview people stick a microphone saying, freedom of the press, freedom of the press. We have a right to be freedom of the press. I guess you've convinced the world now, and smart people who read the Constitution, that, you don't have any right to do anything. At all. To be a commentator on television. The First Amendment doesn't grant media corporations a right to broadcast the opinion of the corporation. I don't care who you are. You're all employees. Anchors, ABC, you're all employees. And if you own the media thing, because you do, then it's your corporation. And you're still an employee. The Article of Amendment 1 to the Constitution, not First Amendment, the article of amendment number 1, the article of amendment number 2, the article of amendment 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and there were 12 that were published on paper by the press. So I'm going to request the Day newspaper that's independent, owned and controlled by a family trust called the Bodenwein Trust, who I know very well, who has a media place that prints commercial media for flyers and stuff, and talk to them about them publishing their own newspaper in book form, on quality paper, hardback, in volumes, with indexes and high quality photographs, and reproduce the entire articles with an index and everything and put it online. And those are the stories written by reporters and published in the newspaper about me and other people and what me and other people did together, sometimes agreeing or disagreeing, and even opinions of the opinion editorial staff. I don't think there's any person alive that can say this. And if there are, well, by all means, please do so. And then there's Gannett Corporation. You know, Gannett, USA Today, Providence Journal, Palm Beach Times, Norwich Bulletin, all these papers. Well, there are enough stories about me and others written by reporters that had to write the story and give to an editor and be assigned by the city desk editor to do the story and all that stuff and work it ahead and everything. So you can read my story by The Day, an independent. My story by The Day newspaper, an independent published newspaper, and my story by the Norwich Bulletin, a Gannett Corporation local paper. So you have two different companies with two different newspapers that both will publish books in volumes, my story, according to reporters who had to have it edited, and the publisher agreed to run it, including photographs and everything with credits, and many, many other people. And you're going to get an idea of how many people I know and worked with and cross-indexed with their names, and you can see what they're doing today. But to get it, you'll have to buy it, because they're not going to reproduce the paper, because you have to pay for it to read it. I have to pay for it and can't reproduce it, because if I do, I'm violating the copyright. Nothing. If you can't get a copyright to it, do you understand what I'm saying? I would suggest the attorneys for the media conglomerates that broadcast advise their corporations that the First Amendment doesn't grant a right. The Sullivan case isn't about a right to publish something. It's about defamation. Something that a newspaper printed in a story somebody named Sullivan said, when my name appeared in a story written by a person who's a reporter, it defamed my character. It didn't get it right. Didn't get it right to anybody. So if you want to believe the New York Times, whatever that is, well, you're just ill-informed. So I would suggest that media personalities who are employees stop talking about freedom of the press, because there's no freedom of the press. And furthermore, you've said it for so long that you convinced the American people that the Constitution doesn't prohibit Congress, and you have created a monster by simply ignoring the facts of the Constitution. So who's to blame that we don't have rights to speak freely today? Yes, we do. I can speak freely anytime I want to, just like this. It's my opinion. I'm expressing my opinion. And somehow, nobody's even interested in my opinion. But you don't even express opinions. You're employees. I'm expressing my personal opinion and thoughts about the circumstances of my life and my country and other topics. It's all my opinion. So I have a very pointed opinion. You are employees getting paid by an employer. So you speak the position of your employer. And that's a right that the Constitution granted. So if you think things are authoritative or lacking in rights or freedoms, well, just pull a seat up at the bar and commiserate with yourselves at what the influencers who are employees of corporations have done to distort the truth of Amendment 1 through 10 even. You don't talk about Amendment 2, Amendment 3, Amendment 4, Amendment 5, Amendment 6, Amendment 7, Amendment 8, Amendment 9, or Amendment 10. Amendment 8 is really important. It's about cruel and unusual punishments. Amendment 2 is really important because it talks about quartering soldiers and militias, but that's gun rights. The amendments to the Constitution don't grant rights. They all restrict the power of Congress. Restrict the power of Congress. Because that's what Patrick Henry wanted and others, the Liberty Boys. Give me liberty or give me death. Liberty is I have inherent my right to liberty that Congress shall not abridge. And we don't even celebrate the Constitution. So we're going to have a big party about a declaration that was written to King George III, accusing him of denying liberty to people who were the subjects of His Majesty George III. So if you like celebrating the fact that we're still subjects of Charles III, I guess we're going to have a big party celebrating the fact that the United Kingdom, that we're subjects of them. If the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia was the summer of 1787, then after a month or so in the summer of 87, the Constitution was written and sent out to be ratified. So, when is the birthday of the Constitution? It's not the summer of 1787. It was drafted and sent out to be ratified. The birthday of the Constitution is the date that 9 states that were colonies of George III said, we're establishing a new government and we're separate from you now. It's so simple. It's so simple that 80% of 6th graders don't even know what the Constitution is, or they don't even have one. So if you want to complain about harsh things in the United States, or the way people are treated or not treated, or who's in charge, or counties, or judges, or police, or local police, or military police, or ICE, or Amtrak police, or ICE police, or immigration police, and immigration police judges, they're just adjudicators. They're police, and more police, and all this police. Then we live in a police state, I guess. Because none of you are willing to say, wait! I have liberty. Congress shall not abridge my liberty. Freedom of religion and the free exercise thereof abridge freedom of the press. I'll see you soon. And by the way, I have a home in Brooklyn, New York at 280 East 21st Street. Brooklyn, New York, 1126. That's my home. I have a home. An apartment. A home. I have keys to it. I'm going to go home. I have a home. Today, I have a home. I'm traveling to Houston to look for work and consulting and things. Because I'm a consultant. I have a public relations company called Ronnie Ward Public Relations. It's a for-profit incorporated in the state of Delaware 2 years ago. I have a not-for-profit corporation incorporated in Delaware called Integrity Americas. So I have a not-for-profit and I have a for-profit. I have 2 businesses. I'm an entrepreneur with a not-for-profit and a for-profit. And yet, I have personal projects related to my not-for-profit called Integrity Americas. It's a not-for-profit. It's for the benefit of others. I've never been able to use it yet. And it's owed money. Do you have a not-for-profit to benefit others that's personal to you? Do you have a for-profit that's personal to you? I don't think so. Okay. Well, see, I'm free now. to travel and do things because I've been very busy. I went to New York City September 1st, 2019 because I already have a doctorate of jurisprudence from a school of law called Washington University in St. Louis. I did not go to a law school. I went to a school of law. If you look it up, it says Washington University, School of Law, School of Medicine, School of Architecture, School of Fine Arts, School of. You graduate from a school of Fine Arts with a BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts. You graduate from a school of law with a doctorate of jurisprudence, or JD. JD is Juris Doctorate. People go to law school say I got a Juris Doctorate, a degree. I have a doctorate of jurisprudence from a school of law called Washington University in St. Louis, which is a mighty fine institution of higher learning. I have a master's of, I have a MAT. The degree is capital M, capital A, capital T, MA, Master of Arts Teaching, MBA, or M. Do you know another degree that's Master of Arts with a capital letter after it? Teaching? Master of Arts Teaching, MAT. That's what's on the degree. MAT. Not a Master of Arts in teaching. Master of Arts Teaching. Specialty, elementary education. K through 5. I have a baccalaureate of arts in independent or individual studies from a liberal arts college called Columbia College, a private institution. My Juris Doctorate or Doctorate of Jurisprudence is from a private institution. My Master's of Arts Teaching is from